Okay guys, let's go ahead and get started on 4.5 day 2. I am only going to work on equation 1 for this one because this is what I did in class. We will be working on equation 2 in class tomorrow, as well as working on graphing. So today I'm not going to talk a whole lot about graphing. I am going to be reflecting this off the notes that we took in class today that we wrote down, so I have those in front of you. So the very first one, this is graphing the polynomial function. That means I'm going to have to solve it to find x. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for a GCF. The GCF on this one is going to be negative 2x. And I am going to be left with x squared plus x minus 6. Now I'm going to go ahead and factor that trinomial. Again, if the big X helps you, go ahead and use that. Negative 6 on top, positive 1 on bottom, and we will have positive 3 and negative 2. These two values are going to help me create my factors. So I will have negative 2x times x plus 3 and x minus 2. That's what they want us to write here in factored form. For the zeros, when they're asking us to find the zeros, we're taking each of these factors and setting them equal to 0. So negative 2x equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. Divide by negative 2 on both sides, and I get x equals 0. So that's my first 0 solution, root x-intercept, whatever they title it as. The next one, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I get x equals negative 3. That is my second 0. And the next one, add 2 to both sides, and I get x equals 2. Good night. Now, when we are looking at our leading coefficient, we are looking at the actual equation that they gave us at first. So our leading coefficient is negative 2. The degree is 3. Now, this is where I want you to sketch just a quick graph of what this should look like. If it's an odd, that means they're going to point opposite ends. And if it's a negative leading coefficient, the right side will point down. So a general or generic graph, it will look like that. So as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to positive infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, f of x goes to negative infinity. Now when it comes to graphing, we're ultimately going to have to make a table. But before we can make the table, there's a couple of points that we need to plot. We need to plot our zeros. Okay. So we have x equals 0, x equals negative 3, and x equals a positive 2. What we're going to be working on tomorrow is creating a table so we have more points to plot. Now, to make the table, so tonight you should be able to at least get this far on number 3 for the homework tonight, okay? Once we get to the table though, I want you guys to look at this and say, what values are close to the x-intercepts but not the x-intercepts? For example, what is a number less than negative 3? And I want it to be close to it, so I'm going to use negative 4. What value is between negative 3 and 0? So I want it to be close to one of the points, and I'm going to pick the smaller one, so I'm going to do negative 1. Then I need a point between 0 and 2. I'm going to use 1. And then I'm going to pick a number that is greater than the x-intercept of 2, and I'm going to pick 3. Now you could pick 8, but that's going to be a really big value. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what these answers are, but this is what we're going to be practicing tomorrow. So this one would be negative 4, 48, negative 1, negative 12, 1 and 8, and 3 and 36. So tonight you should be able to at least get to what I've got here, being able to create a table with what x values you would use. So you should be able to get this far. All right, and that is going to be it for this video. You should be able to duplicate this on number 3, and I will see you all in class tomorrow.